Hi, my name is Aiden Sinclair. I'm the resident illusionist and apparitionist aboard the RMS Queen Mary in Long Beach, California. We've just opened a new show here called Illusions of the Past. It is a theatrical seance. The show is one part history, one part ghost story, and a little bit of illusion all put together. It's very adult-oriented, and it runs about 90 minutes Thursday through Sunday nights. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Showtime is at 8 p.m. sharp, and we hope you'd come out and enjoy the show. Tickets are available both at the Queen Mary and at illusionsofthepast.com. That is Illusions of the Past, spelled P-A-S-S-E-D, as in, passed away. Illusions of the Past moved here from the Stanley Hotel mainly because I really prefer kind of putting the show in a place that has some natural history to it and that has this kind of iconic presence. The Stanley is famously the shining hotel, and it just has character. When you walk in, it's like you've stepped back in time and you've entered another world. The Queen Mary is that on a grander scale. You cannot walk on this ship and not be surrounded by Art Deco. The original art is here. The original wood is here. And then there's the history of the hauntings. Hauntings is something that's always kind of been curious to me. I don't think there's anyone alive who doesn't wonder what happens to us when our time is done. Some people rely on their faith to satisfy them as to say, this is what it's going to be. Other people just have a deep curiosity. I've always had that deep curiosity of, like, what is here? So to be able to perform in a historic and haunted location is incredible. It's kind of the greatest gift I've gotten as a performer. Is there were two places when I started performing that I really wanted to do a show, and to be able to perform at both of those is incredible. So it's special. We have this vast collection of artifacts. The artifacts stem from things from iconic moments in time, like the Titanic or the Hartford Circus fire, and then there's artifacts from historic haunted locations. And what I find is, like, they're all things that have a story to tell. People come to the Queen Mary every day looking for ghosts, and there's something very sad about that to me. That's what you look for, is the ghost and not the person. They look for death, not the living. And the show gave us an opportunity to kind of hopefully broaden perspectives, that you could come and be entertained, but maybe leave going, you know what? Instead of thinking of ghosts being made by violence and murder and suicide, that maybe a ghost is made by kissing someone for the first time or having your first dance with someone you love. People come here for 57 people who died, but 4 million people lived here. 4 million people traveled on this ship when it went back and forth across the Atlantic. 57 of them died. The other, 3 million plus, they had great memories here. They ate great food, they laughed and they danced, they made love. Who's to say that they're not still hanging around? So that's what we hope people leave with, is this experience. It's not a show, not a I felt fooled. I don't want anyone to feeling that. I want them to feel connected. I want them to feel like they're part of the ship's history when they walk away. Oh, all of it. The Queen Mary provided us the space. Originally, this space was the Feast Maze from Dark Harbor in 2017. So it looked like a haunted house. I mean, it was a maze. There were abstract walls in different directions. There was no lighting. The Queen Mary's been amazing. They gutted it and turned it into an empty space. And we were able to design the room from that point forward. So basically, we emptied out our bank account on light bulbs and cool stuff. And when I looked at the space, to be a performer and to be able to go, here's a space and you can do anything you want with it, you don't get that opportunity very often. So I wanted to make it count. And we wanted it to be an immersive experience that would happen as soon as you start down this hallway, that you would travel back in time to this very cool, very exclusive, and very hard to find spot. And that when you finally get to that spot, you enter our world, and you're in that world for the extent of your evening, and that when you return to the world that you came from, I always hope that people will kind of wish they didn't have to. That you just kind of want to stay for a little while longer, have one more drink at the bar, and kind of immerse yourself there. It's also one of the reasons why we change the show every night, is that it is a show that people return to. So every time you walk back down that hallway and return to our world, you're going to meet new people, have a new experience, and hopefully go a little farther down our little rabbit hole and get lost in that immersion. That's what we strive for. We get to renew every year, which is very cool. But the coolest thing about here is that we have the creativity to change and to constantly evolve. Our collection at the moment has about 52 items in it, and each one of those items alone, each individual item in our museum has a story to tell. Each one is a show of 90 minutes. If we were so inclined, we could do a show about any one thing. Most nights we do a show that incorporates 3 or 4 of those artifacts on any given night, but we don't stop with that. The show is still evolving. We still actively go to auctions and seek out haunted artifacts. A lot of things get donated to us. We recently received a stuffed monkey from the Atchison, Kansas Sally House. It's a very historic haunted house in Atchison, Kansas, where a lot of paranormal activity has taken place for the last 100 years. And this monkey would get moved in the house. The house would be completely locked up, nobody in it. People would leave it in the bedroom. The next time they would come to the house, it would be in the living room, with nobody having been in the house and no explanation for why it's moving. So they donated the monkey for us to put on display here, and it's been here for the last month. We have it in 3 different layers of glass, and it doesn't seem to be able to move now. So we have a diary that was kept by a priest who attended a very famous exorcism. So there's a very wide diversity of artifacts that are in the room, and we're always looking for more so that we can increase those experiences and keep the show evolving. Every night it's a different show. It was an incredible experience. America's Got Talent they were just amazing to work with. I got to work they kind of divide you up in different groups of variety artists, dancers, and singers. And I had this great experience of everybody that I encountered through that entire run of shows was amazing. They were not only some of the most talented people in their field, they were kind, they were just fun to work with. The production crew was incredible, supportive. So it opened this huge door. It allowed us to have a presence so that when we walked in to say, hey, we want to do a show here, people at least knew who we were. The only thing that was hard about America's Got Talent is you only have 90 seconds to perform. And the genre of magic that I truly enjoy the most and specialize in is theatrical seance. It is a style of magic that is very story-driven, it's very immersive, and it's very emotional. And it's very difficult to do in 90 seconds. It's difficult to make people feel in 90 seconds. And I originally, in my past life, I got in trouble. And I really found my way out of that trouble through magic. And that was the story that was the most important to America's Got Talent, was the fact that I had done time, that I had surrendered and changed my life through that process. So they kind of limited the presentation to what did you have to do magic with when you were in prison. And in prison you've got playing cards and maybe washers to use as coins. So we kind of tried to stay thematically on what was it like to develop magic with those types of things, where now I have a whole theater, and the difficulty for me is that you can watch card tricks anywhere you go. And you can be entertained by card tricks. You can even be fooled by them. But I don't think people walk away from a card trick feeling like they've experienced magic. Nothing supernatural, nothing that truly makes you wonder. People walk away from it going, that was a cool trick. Yeah. And that's the most you get. People feel fooled. I don't think anybody truly likes to feel fooled. It's more, a great card trick is almost more self-gratifying of, I made this move and I made a card move from point A to point B and I fooled the person I made it move for. I'd like to do something more than that. I want people to leave this theater feeling something, and the feeling that I don't want them to feel is fooled. I want them to feel connected. I want them to feel part of the show, part of this place. And hopefully they'll return wanting to continue to be part of it.
Thank you for watching Muse. If you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on all the other videos you see to watch more of our content.